Parents who have disowned or genuinely stopped loving your child. What happened? Hi Reddit guys, subscribe now, or I will castrate you. My parents disowned my oldest sister. She always struggled growing up more than us. She became a teen mum with a bad older dude, partied a lot, etc. But my parents helped her a lot. They'd do okay for themselves, but had a no co-signing rule for all 6 of my siblings and I. Still, they co-signed for her house so she could get a head start. She didn't pay the mortgage for almost 3 years before my mum got served in front of all the other nurses at her work. My parents worked tirelessly to try to work out deals where my sister and her family kept the house and got some leniency, but to no avail, because my sister never showed up for court dates. During this time, she paid $12,000 for IVF and got pregnant with her 5th kid. When my mum demanded some of the money back, she accused my dad and my brother of beating her sons when my parents took them to Disney World. He didn't, and said she'd file a police report if he asked for money again. They kept asking, cause it wasn't true. She awkwardly joined us for Christmas, and punched my brother in the face during the meal for humiliating her oldest son by asking him if he wanted to work at my brother's company for good pay. Her oldest son is in and out of jail, and my brother was trying to help him after his release, but her son said he didn't want a job and got mad. She then called the cops and told them the same brother had illegal guns in his truck, and they came on Christmas night and searched his truck. No guns found. Needless to say, she is not welcome anywhere near any of us and my mum still cries about it, but refuses to talk to her again. My heart actually aches for your mum. Yeah, it's really shitty behavior and all, but from a parent perspective that must hurt so much. Hope the rest of your family is doing well op. This sounds a lot like my friend's wife's older sister. She is slowly heading in this direction and the only reason why her parents keep giving her money is because she has 3 young kids and the eldest is in his mid-teens and a total entitled ALA. Because he was raised never needing to do anything. Because his mum was raised to never need to do anything either. My ex-wife disowned my son. We both married young when I was in the military, high school sweethearts. She became pregnant 6 months into our marriage. I don't think she connected with him at all after he was born. The most she did with him was Instagram photo shoots where she painted herself as #1 mommy. When he turned 3, I left the military. A year after that, she ran for the hills. I remember it like it was yesterday. I sat down with her at a local restaurant to talk divorce plans. We split all of our financials and material items down the middle. We finally got to custody for my kiddo, something I dreaded to discuss, because fathers never gain custody in my area, and she tells me I want absolutely no responsibility. I was taken back and I asked if she was sure. She was. That one sentence hurt me more than anything else that happened during that time. My biological father wanted nothing to do with me and now I was seeing it happen with my own child, but with his mother. I received full custody and she married within a year afterwards. She had another child too. Her parents try their best to be a part of his life, but she still does her best to avoid him. He's 7 now and used to it, but I know it weighs heavily on him. It sucks ass, but it's life I guess. I just woke up and saw all the upvotes, messages, comments, and awards. I want to say thank you so much. I didn't expect this level of response. I don't usually share something as personal as that. My kiddo is a very awesome kid that has shown great resiliency beyond his years. He has rolled through the tough times better than even I. I can just hope he doesn't question his worth because of what his mum did. I know I questioned mine due to my own father leaving and that has left scars that will not heal. Well, thank you all again and you all have a wonderful day. It's better she isn't there if she never wanted to be. He may not know that now, but he'll probably figure it out as he grows up. She did the thing we wish abusive parents would have done. Maybe we should feel sympathy for the child, and ambivalent toward the mother. The alternative might have been so much worse. That's vile and your son is lucky to have you. I'm sorry that you both have to live with this. I appreciate that. Although I'm not the biggest fan of hers, I still want my son to feel whole. A little different. I was disowned. But I deserved it. I was an addict and a mess for a long time. My mum couldn't keep bailing me out of trouble and watch me self-destruct anymore. I wasn't living at home. She came to see me one last time to tell me she was done, not to contact her. She would no longer have anything to do with me. She was in pieces. I can't imagine how hard it must have been for her. But it was the best thing she ever did for me. Once she cut me off, my rock bottom came hard and fast. After a little while of living on the streets and my addiction consuming me, I made my way to a detox center, got a few days clean under my belt and never looked back. That was almost 15 years ago. After I was clean a little while, I contacted my mum, and little by little we built a relationship again, and now we're really close. I am forever grateful to my mum for letting me fall and letting me back into her life. This has to be the most heartwarming thing I've ever read. To be able to look at things rationally and not hate your mother, but rather appreciate what she did to you while you were in a dire spot. This is something not everyone can do at all. I don't know you, but I'm glad you were able to get back into your mother's life, and I'm sure she is also happy you got up on your feet. Wish you all the best. I have disowned my oldest son. He molested my daughter, has been diagnosed as a sociopath, and we have restraining orders against him. It isn't fun and I never thought I would be that parent. This may be weird coming from a stranger, but thank you for doing so. My partner told her mother that her older brother sexually abused her for close to 10 years and she did nothing. She never reacted to the info, kept letting brother live with her, and still expects us all to play a happy family. I really respect you for what you did. I literally just got off the phone with my mum saying I never want to see my older brother again, and she started with that was so long ago and I had to hang up on her. My stepfather would say actual things to me and I'm 99% sure would have molested me if we wouldn't have left. He also beat the daylights out of my mother and brother. My mother wouldn't leave him either. When I moved in with my father, so many family members tried to guilt me into visiting. My grandmother, mother's mother, told me one day you just need to get over it. I don't speak to any of them now. I was a kid and my sister was much older when my parents were finally done with her. From my recollection, she went through the cycle of making one stupid decision after another, even when they would tell her and show her why she shouldn't make that decision. Dropped out of college they were paying for, and used the tuition money she was refunded to buy a Firebird, then quit her job. Let car run out of oil, kept driving it until the engine seized up. Parents bailed her out again, buying her what they could afford on one salary, a decent, used station wagon. Only catch, she'd take the job my dad called in favors for. Parents come home one day to find strange car in driveway. A Sunbird. It was old and itty, but it was a one trade my sister managed to swing on the station wagon. Lo and behold, old and itty car breaks down almost immediately and she simply stops showing up to work, gets fired, moves out with no car and no job, accusing parents of controlling her life. Moves back in 3 months later, upset that I have moved into her old bedroom, which is bigger, demands to be moved back into the bigger bedroom. Parents say no, she threatens to move out. She goes on a semi-hunger strike about the bedroom. Turns out she was shoplifting and stockpiling candy to eat so she wouldn't have to eat with the rest of the family. During this time, dates a number of less than stellar boyfriends, including a guy who is 30 years older, but drives a Porsche, a guy who had been convicted of sexual abuse, and another guy who generally creeps everyone out by jumping the fence and just standing in the backyard at all hours of the night. Eventually, she is told to pay rent, go to college, or move out. She chooses to move out, and is gone by the end of the week. I clearly remember her threatening to burn the house down as she left. 2 months later, she asks to move back in, because her roommate and best friend kicked her out. Parents say no, she's on her own unless she wants to go to college or get a job and keep it. Car breaks down again, for good, and calls and asks parents if they can buy a new one for her. Not new as in new to her, new as in brand new model year. My parents' newest car was 15 years old at the time. They say no, and not to call again. There were a whole raft of other things, too, including forgetting to pick up her grandmother from doctor's appointments, generally loathing the existence of the rest of her family, and, then, ironically, deriding the family as rednecks when she finally managed to hook a guy who was a small business owner and actually had some money. Anywho, it's been about 20 years since I've spoken to her, and, from the stuff I hear now and again through the pipeline, I'm better for it. I do expect her to come calling when my parents pass and she finds out I'm the sole heir. Another guy who generally creeps everyone out by jumping the fence and just standing in the backyard at all hours of the night. Your sister dated Michael Myers. I have been legally disowned by my father. When I was 11, my mum was diagnosed with terminal cancer. This was her second diagnosis in around 4 years. Obviously she recovered the first time after intense surgery and a lot of chemo, and he did not want to look after her like he did before. He also had a new girlfriend and her family to look after apparently, and he had no issues leaving us. When my mum passed away when I was 14, my brother, grandmother, him and I met up to discuss who I was going to live with. The plan was my brother and his family. Father was never considered, and he showed up and declared that he was in the process of going to court to legally emancipate himself from me. He went out of his way to legally declare that I was no longer his child, just so that my brother, 22 with a wife and 2 young children already struggling on one paycheck, couldn't seek child support. Needless to say, it stung coming only days after my mother's funeral. What an ass. Hugs to you. Peace to your mom. Peace to your mom. Knowing her child doesn't have to be around that monstrous AOLA anymore pretty much guarantees this. I presume he failed, since I doubt any court would allow some negligent parent to remove their parental responsibilities over a child with a dead mother just because. Okay Reddit guys, subscribe now, or I will castrate you.